people have learned to, just cope with the fact that the world is a wicked place. So everyone's practicing myself, my own safety, and that can be a very big problem in society today. So regardless of how bad the world is getting, we should not lose our sense of humanity.
Yeah.
Because we are first human beings before we are professionals in any field of life. I cannot see a neighbor of mine struggling or suffering and I'll just sit down. Oh, it's none of my business or something. Yeah, so there's humanity first. I should show that I am a human being.
Welcome to the Diary of Health Workers, a podcast where we share stories, meaningful conversations, and journey of people that are making impact in the healthcare and community at large. Today, we are going to go beyond the hospital walls into the heart of the community, advocacy, emotional support, and social impact. Joining me today is Dolo Rukewe Levet, a trained social worker, community advocate, also an entrepreneur who is passionate about human dignity, inclusion, empowerment, and emotional well-being. Through her work in social services and community engagement, she has dedicated herself to help individuals navigate personal, emotional, and social challenges, while also building platform that brings people together through services and professionalism. In this conversation, we explore the reality of social workers, social works, community advocates, emotional resilience, youth empowerment, and the importance of compassion in today's society. You are welcome to the show, Rookie.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so we're going to start with the question we ask our guests. One of the questions I always ask people is, what really inspired you into this profession you have chosen? For your case, what really inspired you into social works?
All right. Initially, I put in for a different course in school, but then they pushed us over to social work. Not really because we did not meet the cutoff mark, but I think the slot was full for that particular course. Okay. So we were moved over to social work. I didn't have so much information on the course yet, so I really did not like the course. But then, as I got to meet people, interact with people, got to understand people, it's opened this channel of compassion. So I really wanted to see what I could do to help people and empower people.
Yeah.
So yes, that's my major drive.
That's nice, because I was surprised when I heard that there's a social worker. I was like, I never knew there are social workers in Nigeria. It's not something that is very common as in the health sector or in the educational sector. It's not something that is very, very common. So that brings me to my next question. Lots of people actually misunderstand what social workers actually do or usually do. So can you just tell us what social worker, who is a social worker and what they actually do?
Well, in the books, social work is a practice-based profession, an academic field of study or discipline that just moves with people, talks with people, just help people maintain a maximum standard of living, help people improve their living, improve their lives, get them empowered. That's the definition in the books. But then when you step out of the books and you actually move into society, you hear that people actually need social workers. They need people to talk to, they need people to rely on, they need people to help them. And that's just what social work is about. Just helping people maintain a maximum standard of living, finding justice, empowering them, and that's just what the community needs.
Wow. This is very interesting because like I said, most people don't know about social workers or social works in Nigeria. It's common overseas where you see people who are social workers and stuff like that. But back home, it's not really something that is very common. All right. Looking at the function of some of the duties social workers carry out, and what is one emotional struggle or social struggle you see people in your day-to-day activity, you see people struggle with silently?
Well, I would say depression for one. I mean, the society has drawn a margin on men, drawn another margin on children, drawn another margin on women as well. So people just want to be listened to. some people go through so much problems, and all they just want is to be listened to first. Once they have somebody they can rely on, someone who can listen to them, and that's the first step to freeing them from the bondage they are in. So I would say a major problem is depression. And then emotional empowerment. People need to be empowered. People need to be empowered in society. People have so much potentials in them, but they just need something to break them free. And that's the gap that social work seeks to bridge.
Wow, this is very interesting. Like in my line of work, I work with social workers, and their value cannot be overemphasized. And I think it's something we also need to inculcate back home in Africa, in Nigeria. I don't know about other African countries, but in Nigeria, I think something we need to inculcate, because there is a lot of gap that social workers can actually, fill in, especially in our health sector, in our educational sector, and the likes. All right. So, then let's continue the conversations. Your work involves supporting people through personal and emotional struggles, right? And you just mentioned support people, whatever they go to. So, what has that experience taught you about humanity?
Well, the experience has taught me that human beings are different faces, different abilities, different coping mechanisms to problems. Some people cope differently. So that's taught me that people are different. And so one of the core ethics of social work is respect for human dignity, respect for people, knowing that people are different. And hence we do not expect the same people going through the same problems to react the same
way.
There is a small difference, yes. So using that difference now as your how do I explain it? Using that difference as your lever, it can help you solve problems differently.
Yeah,
so
that's true. When you look at the health illness continuum, the way I react to a particular illness is not the way you might react to that particular illness. So we have to look at people holistically, not. All right, that's very, very correct. So now let's look at the society at large. People in the fast-paced world right now, people are minding their business, or like what it was in the past. Now I want to ask, through your work, through your experience, through your studies, I know that when you studied, you go into the community and things like that. Do you think people are now less compassionate, in society? And if yes, what do you think is the reason why, there is less compassion, unlike before, towards others?
Okay, so initially I mentioned coping mechanism. People have learned to, just cope with the fact that the world is a wicked place. So everyone's practicing myself, my own safety, and that can be a very big problem in society today, because naturally human beings are supposed to be compassionate towards one another. I mean, I cannot walk on the street and see somebody fall beside me and just walk past. But then if I put it in line or side by side with security consciousness these days, I would want to walk past. As I'm speaking as just a regular street person now, not a social worker. I would want to walk past because it's not my business. This person, I don't know this person. And then raising this person up may expose me to bigger risk and dangers. So people are losing their compassion because of, let's say, security reasons and purposes. And then everybody's practicing myself. The community, the country is getting harder, and everybody just wants to look out for themselves, look out for their family members. And doing that, compassion is lost.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree with you on that, because right now we are selfish individuals. Everybody is selfish. Everybody is just focusing on themselves and their children and their immediate family. Like unlike before, like we said before. Unlike before, during the time of our parents, it used to be that it takes a community to train a child.
Yes.
But right now, it's just father and mother. Sometimes father and mother are not there. All right. So I think, like you said, the way the life is becoming more difficult, and people just want to focus on themselves, and we are getting more selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you on that. I think I really agree with you. So your job and your personality have made you to become one person that is very compassionate about inclusion. right?
Mm-hmm.
You are compassionate.
Yes, sir.
You are also compassion when it comes to you're also passionate when it comes to empowerment and social well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Like to know, or the audience will also like to know, why is community advocacy important today?
Yes, social workers bridge a gap between the people and the government.
Yeah.
Places that the people cannot, their voices cannot be heard. It is the job of social workers to come up, to empower them, and then speak for them.
How have you been able to manage to balance compassion driven work with your entrepreneurship lifestyle?
Well, the space between being an event planner and ushering people into events is not so far from being a social worker. In fact, they both have the same core ethics and values. There is hospitality, there is kindness, there is a value of dignity and worth of a person. So of course, a
Okay.
guest walks up to me and the first thing they see is my hospitality. Oh, welcome, sir. How are you doing, sir? And those frontline attitudes. So it's not really far from being a social worker. First of all, you
Okay.
build rapport with these clients so that the person is free enough to tell you anything they want to tell you. And then there is trust. And then I respect that this is a human being I'm talking to.
Yeah.
So I'm not judgmental. I get to listen.
Thank you very much. You're unpacking a lot, because in fact, to be sincere with you, when I heard about Mocha in Nigeria, I was like, wow, I need to speak to this person. I really need this person to, tell us about social worker and what you do. And I want to ask, if you are to speak to a young person right now,
Mm-hmm.
um, if you are to speak to young people, Jambites, maybe somebody who is looking for admission or something, would you advise them to go and be social workers, and why?
Very strongly, yes. I would advise them to be social workers because even outside the profession, the core
Hmm.
ethics that social work teaches us is applicable for society.
Okay.
So even if you are not directly going into social work, but study the course, and then those core ethics will help you live as a human being in society. I mean, you have compassion, you have love, you treat people with kindness and respect, and those are just the values of social work.
I think these are things our society, lack right now, because
Yeah.
that compassion, that this leads me to our next question. Even though you partly answered it, if you have to change up one thing affecting young people in society today, what would that be?
Well, I think I would go with lifting up kindness and empathy. Because people should learn to put themselves in other people's shoes, understand how people are feeling before they give some certain reactions or comments or even speech about them.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree. I totally agree with your mind, your path of thought or train of thoughts, because kindness is very important in our society today.
Very important.
And social work will also teach you how to be kind with people, just like someone who's a nurse. Compassion, empathy, sympathizing, kindness, caring. Some of the values you are being taught, or you are being trained to have. All right. Now let's look at let's reflect on your leadership and service. Right. What has been the biggest lesson life has taught you so far?
Okay. Biggest lesson. Let's see. Life teaches people a lot of lessons, but let me speak in line with social work.
Okay.
Okay, like I've said earlier, people like to be listened to. You may not have the solution to their problems, but just give them a listening ear. Once they feel safe with you and there's rapport, they just want to be listened to. I've seen many cases and many situations where we had to talk to people and they would break down midway into the conversation and they just start crying because they've really held a lot in their hearts. So talking with them, giving them a space to free up themselves, it's just so pleasant to watch. They just feel free. They just want to talk. So give people listening ears. Be empathetic. Put yourself in people's shoes. Try to understand what they are going through, what they are feeling at a particular point in time. And don't be judgmental. Even after hearing what they did, don't always be, you did this. No.
Yeah.
You can suggest, you should have done this. You can do this better next time. But don't be the judgmental one pointing fingers at them, telling them you did this. You add to their guilt. And that's the major cause of depression these days. Guilt.
Yeah.
By the time you accuse them, you did this, the pain just keeps welling up in them, and depression is full blown at that point.
Wow. Wow. This is a lot. This is a lot to unpack right now. But I think as our listeners are listening over and over again, they tend to they are going to be getting more of this information. All right. I would like to know, what is one thing people should start doing more, for their mental and emotional well-being?
Okay, for their mental well-being, they should learn to open up more. I mean, the world is a crazy one right now. You can open up and make enemies out of it, or make,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was going to ask that question. Sorry for confusion, because you open up to people, and before you know it, your story is trending. So things like that.
That's why social workers are here for you. Just find a trusted social worker and try to open up.
So not open up to anybody you see. At least somebody you can confide in. Yeah,
that you can confide in. Yes,
I agree with you. I'm a mental health nurse, so I think one of the things that we talk about is speaking to people.
yes,
Because when you onboarding yourself, it helps. They say a problem shared is half solved. You
yes.
feel lighter. You know that there's somebody there to listen to you. It's very important that we know that we have someone we can talk to at any time. And I think one group of persons in my line of work too, I've seen that always go to the social worker, because at some point the doctors are stuck, the nurses are stuck. You just say, in this case, social worker will handle it. Right? Now let me ask you one question. For someone who wants to study social worker, are there different areas in social works, like different aspects of social works? If there are, just let us know so that our audience can actually get information.
Oh, there's a whole chart. There's a whole chart containing so many courses related to. So there's medical social work, there's law in social work, there's advocacy, social work. There are so many branches of social work that one can just, specialize on. When we were getting the course initially, when we were giving the course, because I told you initially that was not my course I wanted to study, but then we were giving. But then they told us, the word they keep using is, you can work anywhere. Of course, we can work anywhere. Anywhere that have people, we can work there. So even in oil sectors, in engineering bodies and all of that, we can work anywhere. Civil services, social workers work anywhere. As long as there are people, there must be struggles, there must be problems, there must be quarrels. So of course, the social worker is always available to just brush things up. Yeah.
So how is the program in Nigeria? Like, how is the profession right now in Nigeria? Is it how do I put it? I know most people don't know about it. So how is it right now? Is it like you guys have like how nursing is? You have NAM. How medicine you have MD-CAN, or you have NMA and things like that. Are you guys, are there opportunities? Are there, associations and things like that can actually advocate and stuff like that?
Yes, there are so many associations. One of which is NASOS, National Association of Social Workers, and there are several other ones as well. Yes, in Nigeria.
They have offices
around. Yes.
Oh, this is interesting. It's nice to know. All right, let's continue the other aspect of our conversation. So, as a woman who is building impact in different spaces, entrepreneurial, social worker, what advice would you give to young women trying to find their voices or their purposes in life?
Okay, I would say the most difficult step to take is starting. But then I can assure you that once you have started, the flow just continues like that. It may be difficult, you may see obstacles, there may be hurdles, and there may be hindrances. But once you have started, taking that big step to start, then the flow just goes on like that, and everything just keeps going smoothly. Yeah. So just start something.
Yeah, I like that, because if you don't start, you don't. In fact, they say a journey of 1,000 miles
begins with one step. Exactly.
Yeah. So just start it. So I was listening to a podcast, and one of the authors, the speaker was like, once you start, you even if you fail, you learn lesson from that failure. You get directions. So the more you're doing it, the more you get directions on how to go from it. You learn one or two lessons, and you keep making progress. All right. Thank you very much because you've shared a lot with us this morning. But before you leave us, I know you're a very busy person. Before you leave us, if you could leave something or leave a message with the listeners about compassion, about humanity, about service, right?
Okay.
What would that message be?
Okay, so regardless of how bad the world is getting, we should not lose our sense of humanity.
Yeah.
Because we are first human beings before we are professionals in any field of life. We are first human beings. So we owe each other we owe each other to just be human beings to each other. I cannot see a neighbor of mine struggling or suffering and I'll just sit down, oh, it's none of my business or something. Okay, so there's humanity first. I should show that I am a human being. It is naturally in the gene of human beings to be compassionate about each other. It's just certain problems these days that is pushing that aspect out of us. But human beings are human beings regardless. So we should not lose our sense of humanity. We should learn to stand up for each other. We should not wait till it affects us directly before we get our voice to speak. We should speak out for each other. We should have compassion on each other. So I think that's just it in a nutshell.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rookie, for sharing your experience with us, and teaching us about compassion. Now, this conversation has reminded us that healthcare and well-being is not about medicine, actually. They are about compassion, inclusion, emotional support, and community. And to everyone listening, if this episode actually inspires you, I would like you to know that you can actually have a different perspective about humanity right now and services. So share with someone, share the conversation with someone, and make sure that you continue to follow us on all social media. Once again, thank you, Rookie, for coming to the podcast Diary of Health Workers. We hope to see you again at another top level where you wear another crown, another title add to this one. All right, and
Thank you, sir.
we are really grateful to have you.
Thank you, sir.
It's a wonderful day. Yeah.
All right, sir.